There's no question that our nation is in the vice-like grip of the scourge of crime and violence. And for quite a number of years, we have been grappling with this problem without any very obvious success. I'm not saying there has not been a success here or there, but generally we have not achieved that, unfortunately. And what is happening, crime is becoming endemic. It's becoming a part of our culture now. And the evidence of that is clear. There was a time, and some of us are old enough to recall this, if there was a murder, particularly a gruesome murder, it would hang like a pallor over this nation for weeks, sometimes months. But now you can hear of the most gruesome murder, not just one, multiple murders, and within 24, 48 hours, it's all assimilated into our consciousness and we just move on. That's a bad sign. We have to be troubled when situations like that occur. And we've got to be troubled to the point that we want to do something about it. I have not made a lot of friends over the last 10 years by saying the same thing, one simple thing, and that is this entire nation must collaborate on fighting crime. Not just the police or the courts or the Attorney General's office, but this entire nation. And sad to say, it appears that we have not utilized all of the resources that's available to us. And we hope that this is one resource that is being identified today that could and would be used by this nation to address the scourge of crime. And that is one of the most influential group of persons in this nation. Our women. Our women. Think back, some of you who are old enough to remember that women basically control the homes, the schools, everything. The communities. They were not leaders in the current perspective. They were not professionally trained, holding high office. Many of them were housewives or farmers, but they had authority in the community which they used. When those women appeared on the scene, order must be restored. Now, over the decades, we have moved away from that. But women still is a resource that this country needs to employ for a number of reasons. One, God has equipped women with some attributes that men do not have. Not better, not greater than men, but just different. Women were created by God to be the nurturers, to be the supporters of everything, to make it happen. And particularly as it relates to children, women knew that a child was about to come into this world. The mother knew before anybody else, in most cases. She struggled with that child prior to, during, and after birth. So there's a certain bond, there's a certain influence that that mother has that nobody else has. And that is extended to grandmothers, elder sisters, and other women in their lives. If there is a problem out there, an altercation, if you send men, they may likely exacerbate the situation, as we all know, because we're going to approach it in a different manner. We're going to go out there and say, man, y'all have to stop skylarking, you know. Y'all this and that, and, you know, instead you go get a job and all the rest, you're smoking dope and all the rest of it. which will end up inflaming the situation. But I always say that a woman would go out and she would approach it in a more compassionate way. First of all, she would say, well, son, don't get yourself in any trouble. Or son, don't bring your family to shame. And that has the effect of causing that person to pause a minute. And in that moment, maybe that person's good sense could take control again, and a very serious situation could be avoided. So God is just giving women that kind of compassion, that kind of knowledge of how to diffuse situations. And so we have to call upon that asset. That's an asset. We have to call upon that asset. On the other hand, women in our society are bearing the brunt of this crime and violence thing, you know. The brunt of it. Go by the courts on any given day. See who is around there, trying to get a look at her son. As the bus pulls off for the prison, who do you see running behind the bus? Johnny, I love you, Johnny. Johnny, I'm coming to see you Sunday. You don't really see the fathers or the men. Not that they don't love or don't care, but that's just not them. The women carry the brunt of it. Who do you see standing at the prison every Sunday, sometimes suffering indignities and having themselves search their food dug up into in search of contraband, just waiting to get in to see that loved one in there? Women. Who do you see on television with a young man lying in a pool of blood? Who do you see falling out and in such grief, inconsolable? Women. Who is the last to leave the cemetery? Women. So my point is, if the women are bearing the brunt of the problems, then it would be in their best interest to themselves try to ameliorate this problem before it reaches them, if it has not already reached them. We should like to formally present this facsimile of a charter. Their official charter is a nice big framed document which is on the way, but we're going to invite the president to come and receive this charter. And it reads, Bahamas Against Crime presents this charter to the Baintown chapter of Women Against Crime. And this is presented at Nassau, Bahamas, this 27th day of September 2015. And below is the motto of Bahamas Against Crime that we've been using for 10 years. We can fix it. We believe we can fix the problem. And this is just another stroke in the pen to achieve that. So we present this to you, Madam President, on behalf of your entire chapter, and we trust that it would continue to motivate you all to do the job that we know you can do. We'll now have brief remarks from Madam President.
Hi, good afternoon. And in accepting this charter and also accepting the responsibility as president, I just like to say we are just simple women, no rocket scientists. We plan to go about our work, as Reverend Moss says, with love. We plan to reach young men, young women, one by one. We try to meet them where they are, and just before they make the decision to go into crimes or before they pull that trigger, we just make ourselves available. We make ourselves available to advise them, to encourage them, to motivate them, to just help them to make positive decisions. Just reach them where they are, not, like we say, nothing complicated. And not only the young men, we have a lot of our young women. We need to reach our young women also, helping to build their self-esteem, helping them to know that well, there's another way as opposed to just having babies. You know, if abstinence is not the key, let's give them other options. Let's provide them with information and education to help them to make positive choices so that we don't have them bringing children into the world who may end up being the persons who propagate crime. Because we look around in our community and we see people who should be, well, nurturing persons as mothers. But then again, they're so young, they're only acting as adolescents. That's the only thing they know. So with our group, we plan to go in there and look at prevention, love, not condoning, not accepting nonsense, but love. And again, Dr. Patterson, you'll be hearing from us. Mrs. Maynard Gibson, Attorney General, you'll be hearing from us. And thank you all for your support. And thank you all who've come here. And my sister Joanna, you here taking pictures, you're going to be very much involved. Thank you.